As one of the most well-known conductors of the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman rescued more than 300 slaves over the span of 11 years.
Harriet Tubman was one of the most remarkable women in American history.
Born a slave in the early 1820s, Araminta Ross changed her name to Harriet Tubman after marrying a free black man named John Tubman around 1844.
As a slave, Harriet Tubman was repeatedly whipped. She also later was hit by a lead weight mistakenly, but that lead weight caused her to experience narcolepsy for the rest of her life.
Fearing that she would be sold away from her family in 1849, Tubman fled to Philadelphia using an informal but well-organized network known as the Underground Railroad.
She felt that she would be sold away because she was viewed as a sickly person. She and two of her brothers ran away, and the brothers decided they would return to the plantation. And she, instead of abandoning them, turned around, went back with them to the plantation, and then turned around and escaped a second time by herself.
Using her own money, Tubman made separate journeys to rescue her sister and brother. And in 1851, Tubman guided a group of 11 fugitives north, earning her the nickname Moses.
Harriet Tubman was called the Moses of her people, largely because she was so successful in leading slaves out of slavery, out of the South, into the North, which symbolically is known as the Promised Land. Moses, the figure from the Bible, leading his chosen people, Tubman took on that kind of mythic quality.
In 1858, Tubman assisted abolitionist John Brown in recruiting men for the raid on Harper's Ferry. During the Civil War, Tubman became a Union Army scout, a nurse, and led an armed expedition to liberate more than 700 slaves.
Harriet Tubman was an incredibly brave African-American woman. She sacrificed her own life, and she freed probably over 1,000 people. And she said she could have freed a lot more if they had known they actually were slaves.
Although Tubman was widely well-respected during her lifetime, she was impoverished and died of pneumonia in 1913. Tubman was buried with military honors and was later named an American hero by President Barack Obama.
Harriet Tubman is one of the amazing women in history. She not only brought these slaves out, but she never lost a life.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mondays with Miko, the first Monday of Black History Month. So I do hope that you all enjoyed the video, the little snippet of Harriet Tubman. Definitely a woman of worth, a woman in history who deserves her place in history, and so excited about the upcoming $20 bill. So what I plan to do each Monday in January is, hello Nathalie, is to showcase, try to find a little video of a historic figure, a historic person, whether they're past or still living, just to share at the beginning of my show. So today I actually have on some earrings that my mama sent me. Thinks it's very, very pretty. So, and I am wearing an African gown, one of my favorites. And so just in support of today's Black History Month. So, man, y'all, I got a few things I want to talk about today. And first, let me tell you guys, let me go ahead and put this banner down there. I will be speaking on Sunday, February 21st at Red Hill Baptist Church, a drive-in service down in Britain's Neck, Grisham area. So I'm gonna remind you, but it'll be great if you guys could join me for that service. The church every Sunday during Black History Month, they have guest speakers speaking on Black history. So pray for your girl, and I would love it if you all could come and join me down there. All right, so we're going to, a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and let's just talk about, again, the big lie, right? The big lie is when folks are saying, and not just folks, are elected officials, people who are paid by us, who know how elections run, are saying or have said since Joe Biden was rightfully, fairfully elected that he did not win. So that's the big lie, right? So when I say the big lie, that's what I'm talking about. There's no bigger lie because that lie led to insurrection. So now let's just take it a little bit local. So Tom Rice. Tom Rice, initially, right after the insurrection, he voted to overturn the electors, then came back and voted for impeachment. So you're like, that makes you scratch your head, right? You know, which one, right? Is it a big lie? Or should your president, who you have followed or you have admittedly, I think he said over 94% of the time he's voted for Trump and he is for all of Trump's policies, despite having a district with only 8 counties, and 3 of those counties have the highest rates of poverty. And we know how Trump feels about people who are poor. And we know how Trump feels about people who look like me. But yet, our representative just gloats all over him until now. Why now? Because he voted for impeachment. And in voting for impeachment, he has the entire Republican Party. The Republican Party is split. I'm not here to talk about them. But he has the whole Republican Party on him. And it's not good for him. But here's the thing. And I've been back and forth. He doesn't get a cookie from me, and neither should he. What he should get from us is we should double down. We need to register people to vote now, and we need to keep doing it, and we don't need to stop doing it. Tom Rice runs again in 2 years. He is most likely will be primaried. That means that maybe we won't be running against an incumbent. So we got to go to work, y'all. We got to go to work so that South Carolina can have true representation. There's so many crazy things coming out of South Carolina right now. And the thing is, it's not time for us to get complacent. It's not time for us to rest on our laurels. We need to continue to work, right? People call me all the time about how they're using their V's. That's awesome. It is our right. We are constituents. We can call any of these elected officials that we feel like. We can send them a message. We won't do it the way others do it, right? We do it professionally. Say, this is what our concern is. This is what our needs are. This is my feeling. So when you go to DC or you go to Columbia, you need to take me with you because you are our representative. Okay, so let's go back to the big lie. Woo, girl. Miss Tanya the poet says South Carolina officials are such flip-floppers. Listen, I don't even know if it's flip-flopping or what. They definitely turn to where the money is, right? Now, I have heard Tom Rice say, and his story is touching, about the bomb, the pipe bomb that was in his apartment, and how he didn't bring his family down there. Well, he didn't bring his family there because he thought that BLM and Antifa, what they got to do with any of this? I am so sick of the comparisons, the Black Lives Matter. I can just spit. There's no comparison. I have been at protests. Protests are peaceful. Now, protests that later at night turn into riots, that's 2 completely different things. January 6th was no riot, sir. Stop calling it that. It was an insurrection. It was, and the impeachment starts next week. So next week, we're going to be talking about that. But the impeachment starts next week. And I'm not happy. Let me tell you what I'm happy for. I am happy that Americans are finally using their V's, people who, like me, are getting out there and voting, and we are demanding change, and we're doing it peacefully, just like Dr. Martin Luther King wanted it to be done. So let's talk about the election and how we have voted in the first Democratic majority since Obama had it in 2008, and they only had it for 2 years. And so when we vote in that, yeah, Margaret, no comparison, no comparison. But when we voted Biden in, y'all, right? We went to vote. We went to vote for change, right? We went to vote for change, and we pushed and we called people that we knew in Atlanta, and we begged them to go out and vote, and we told them that we would support them. And some of you guys maybe sent $5, sent $10 down to those campaigns. We did that so that when we got the majority, we would use the majority. So let's talk about the $1.9 trillion COVID package. It sounds like a lot, right? Y'all ain't. Let's just go back a little bit. And I put this on my wall the other day. In 2008, I was actually working at a major financial institution at the time, and that's a whole nother story. I would love to tell you guys how that went down. But when our banking system, when the richest of the rich were afraid they were going to lose their livelihood, our government took $500 billion overnight, bailed them out. Now, most of that money got paid back, but they did it. And they didn't blink an eye. Oh, hey, Rob, friend from New Jersey. Yes, I remember you. I remember you, Coach Rob. I'm going to tell Dom that you were on tonight. Thank you so much for joining. So in 2008, that was the Troubled Asset Relief Program. Didn't blink an eye. Bailed out the millionaires and the billionaires and the financial institutions. In 2017, matter of fact, December 22nd, 2017, former President Donald Trump signed into law the so-called Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, a $1.9 billion tax cut favoring corporations and wealthy Americans. It just happened, right? The Republicans had the majority and they used it. Did they care how we thought? No. And guess what? This is the crazy thing about the Tax Cut Act in 2017 is these rich folk didn't even ask for it. Didn't even ask for it. Trump gave it to them. So here we are. We worked hard, y'all. We worked hard. Oh yeah, the deficit's blown. Steve Harnett says the deficit's through the roof. We're gonna have to fix that. But how about we take back the tax cut? How about we swap out the 1.9 million for the rich that went through in 2017 and replace it with 1.9 million for Biden's COVID Relief Act? I just don't get it. So before Mondays with Miko, Biden was having a meeting with some Republican senators. The senators came in and wanted to take it down by a third. So 1.9 trillion, that's too much for regular people. That's too much for people who look like me. That's too much for people who live in rural areas. We don't want to spend 1.9 trillion on them. The deficit. Let's just make it 618 billion. No, you don't get the privilege, GOP, Republican Party, Republican senators, of telling us what to do. We did the work and we won. And we want change. And we want relief. And just like our president says, it has to be done, now. It actually is late. It should have been done the same way they did that TARP bill in 2008. It should have been done the same way that that jobs cut bill happened in 2017 that nobody asked for, benefiting the wealthy. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about help for schools to reopen. We're talking about help for money for vaccinations. Oh yeah, I'm gonna come back to that, Miss Tanya. Help for money for vaccinations, right? Um, State and local governments and cities. And let me tell you about this baloney when they say about Democratic run cities. First of all, cities don't just have one political party in there. There's Republican votes in every single city all across this America, all across this land. Second of all, the cities send the majority of the money to the federal government. So they need help, we need to help them. Point blank, period. $1,400 stimulus payments. Now, I know some of y'all in Georgia, when y'all went down there and voted for those two Democrats to be in the Senate, you were thinking about your stimulus. Well, the GOP, Republican Party, that's too high. You all don't need it. No, we voted for it and we won it. And guess what? And so Ms. Tanya says, 2/3 of the vote. We can do it with just what we got. We just got to make sure that West Virginia, Senator Manchin, stays in line. And we can do it. We don't need them. And so my point, I'm trying to say, I'm going to come back to minimum wage. Here's my opinion. And y'all go ahead and start getting me on minimum wage because there's people on both sides. I've been talking about minimum wage for over a year, and I'm gonna come back to that. So the bottom line is this: is the American people are hurting. We went out and we voted in a Democratic majority. Do your job. Do your job. And if you don't, we're going to use our V's and we will have another opportunity to put more people in. Trust and believe. If we all get serious, matter of fact, you can just print out voter registration forms and iwillvote.com. I'm gonna get real deliberate with it very soon. Where, whenever we have events, it's always gonna be voter registration forms. Keep looking at people in your family. And don't believe them when they say they're registered to vote, because so many people lie about that. Don't know why. They say they're registered to vote, and when I look them up, it's like, oh, no, they're not registered. That's okay. Fill out another form. Right? Our vote is our power. So let's talk about the $15 an hour minimum wage. The $15 an hour minimum wage was leading up to all of this. I was saying that there was a bill in the House that was already passed and it was in the Senate. Well, our President Biden, he went ahead and he put it into the relief bill, part of the 1.9 trillion. So here's the good thing about that is that why not? It's been 13 years, right? So I talk to people on both sides, right, that are like, oh, minimum wage is just, we cannot increase it. It's going to kill small businesses. Not true. History doesn't show that. But here's the thing. I don't think anybody who makes more than $15 an hour should have a say. A negative say, you can say all the positive things you want. But try living on $7.25 an hour. Try living on $8.50 an hour. Our government, the Health and Human Services, they put out a study every year about poverty. And if you are a single person, you have no dependents, and you make $8.62 an hour, you are poor. So that means you're working and you're still poor. That should not happen in America. You should not work and still be poor. I'm not saying you have to be rich. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be rewarding people who have taken that extra step and have went to college and have studied or have done what they can do so that they make good money. Good for you. I'm happy. I am very, very happy. But there's those of us that are amongst us that legitimately go to work every day for $7.25 an hour, for $8 an hour, for $9 an hour, for $10 an hour. I talk to people that go, so I live in Mullins. They drive down to the beach for $8 or $9 an hour. That's one way, 1 hour. That's not fair. That's not fair. And for those of you who look at, oh yeah, Margaret says no one should work 40 hours a week and need rental assistance and food help. Preach. Yes. Yes. You work 40 hours a week and you need rental assistance. Yes. And you know what? You know what is oh, see, this is my friend from New Jersey. He says if this keeps up, we'll be back to the soup lines. Brother, it's already here. It's already here. People, especially in this economy. And you know what else? You know what else is interesting? And the reason why I love our new president and is that he is caring about the small folk, right? And those people who are working 2 jobs or who are just making it, just barely making it, making $7.25, $8.25, $9.25, $10 an hour, they don't even ask for anything. They don't ask for help. It's those of us that know what it takes to pay rent. It's those of us that know that you need food, shelter, and clothing. Those are the basic necessities of life. And you should not be working and have and don't have. This is the United States of America. South Carolina, shame on you. Shame on you for allowing your people to be in this kind of state. So anyway, minimum wage, right? So $15 an hour, it gradually goes up to $15 an hour. I still have not seen the bill, but all the other bills I've seen, they gradually go up to $15 an hour. So what do we do in the meantime? In the meanwhile, we got to immediately increase the wages because those same people who are making $7.25 an hour, $8.25 an hour, $9.25 an hour. Oh, by the way, in South Carolina, you could go to New Jersey and make $11 an hour at McDonald's. Kids are making $11 at McDonald's. But in South Carolina, our essential workers are working and still poor. That's the new term, y'all. They call them essential workers. So that those who can work from home, who can telecommute, you can go ahead and keep doing that. And your food shows up at your door. You want to go to the restaurant, you want to go through the drive-through, the people who are serving you need help. Need help. And that's what this bill is about. So I say this, American people, let's help each other. 1, call your senator. Call Tim Scott, Lindsey Graham. They don't listen much, but leave a voicemail, send an email. Call them and say, it's the American people need help. And we don't like this. And pray for our president. Pray for courage. Because you know what? They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to just go nuclear. We are just going to have to pass this with 50 votes, period. Because we cannot wait any longer. Now, I could be wrong, but today is Monday, right? And impeachment starts next Monday, I think. Check me if I'm wrong, y'all, on the comments. But I think the impeachment starts next Monday. So to me, that means that they need the Senate to vote on this, like, before Monday. So, Lord willing, we'll have an answer. We'll have an answer. And the answer is either the Democrats go it alone. Remember, we talked about those 3 branches of government that need in order to enact the bill. So either the Democrats go it alone or we come up with some kind of deal, which I don't like. I don't like the idea of a deal. I just don't like it. It's not right. We voted for change. We want change, right? These dirty deals are what got us into this bucket. You didn't have a problem passing $1.9 trillion tax cut. I'm just saying. So, last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. South Carolina, please listen up. We know, or you may not know, I don't know, but let me tell you, there is the COVID-19 mutates, right? And it mutates, and when it mutates, and it's because it's still jumping from person to person, from person to person, from person to person. We're still hearing about all these people who are getting COVID-19. So as it's jumping from person to person, what's happening is that there's different strains of the virus. So our brilliant scientists have created vaccines that are for what they know, because they can't create a vaccine for what they don't know, right? So unfortunately, there is a much worse strain of the virus, not in terms of deadliness, praise God, but in terms of the ability to spread. And it's here in South Carolina. And it's not just here in South Carolina, it's here in the Pee Dee. So my friends that don't know about the Pee Dee, the Pee Dee is it's like 6 or 7 counties where I live. So they don't say where, and I have an idea why they won't say where in the Pee Dee, but I will not share that. Will not share that. But they won't say where in the Pee Dee, but it is in the Pee Dee. That means that, and keep in mind, I just told you, tons of people I know, they go to the beach all the time, for work every single day. People go to Charleston for the doctors every single day. So we would be crazy if we think that there's a strain of this virus that is more highly effective and it's not going to get back to Marion County. This is what we got to do. We got to get vaccinated. We have to. We have to get vaccinated, because in order for all of us to go back to where this thing is not mutating, and we are not getting phone calls every other day, oh, this has to be canceled because that person has COVID, or this person's on quarantine. I'm so sick of hearing that. We have to get vaccinated. The county that I live in is over 60% African American. This virus attacks us worse and harder, which means that we're going to have to be vaccinated. And I get it that there's been a long history of playing with our health. I get it. But at the same time, we have been vaccinated. We vaccinate our children, right? We gotta do what's best for our community. So that being said, there is and bear with them, y'all. I think this is the first one. You got to have an appointment, but it's going to be at a gym in Marion. Call that number. I'm already hearing reports that maybe the number isn't working, but call the number to schedule your appointment. If you don't get this number, call the hospital tomorrow and schedule your appointment for everybody that you know that are 70 and over. Now, they're only doing 1,000 vaccinations on Thursday, but that's a lot because we got 32,000 people who live in our community, right? So they have 1,000 vaccines that they're going to be putting in arms on Thursday, but you need an appointment. So please, 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 anybody who's over 70 and you're listening to this, make your appointment. If you have a grandmom or auntie or somebody who's older, oh, please. Oh, my goodness. Margaret, I got to look at that. Send me Margaret Reeves. You give some statistics. Do me a favor. Can you send me some information, or chart or a source? Because if that's true, that's really scary. But going back to Thursday, and I'm not saying that it's not true, Margaret. I trust you. You're my girl. But that's really scary. So going back to the vaccine, call for somebody, right? Call for your auntie, your uncle, your grandma, and your grandpa. 1,000 dosage of the vaccine is a big deal in our county, y'all. That's a real big deal. It's 32,000 people. Okay. So, and we need to show up. right? And got to bear with them. This is going to be their first time. It could be some drama. Let me know though. Drop me a message. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how seamless the appointment process is. I really, really appreciate it. And then let me fill me in on how it goes once you're there. Okay. Um, so also masks. If you guys need masks and hand sanitizers, we have masks and hand sanitizer. We are giving 2 masks and 1 hand sanitizer away as giveaways. So if you need one, which we all, and these are reusable, the kinds you can wash and then wear again. So don't hesitate. Drop me an inbox. Our volunteers will get them over to you. And or if you know somebody, like, you know what, my cousin, he's wearing that same old face mask, Miko, go ahead, get him a face mask. Just send us that information and we'll get it over to you. Okay. Thank you so much, Margaret. I appreciate that. And so last but not least, and this is what I'm going to end with, and don't have a whole lot of information on it yet. I'm researching a couple things. I'm researching Dr. Biden's plans for the border and what's going on down there in Mexico. And also keeping a keen eye on voter suppression in South Carolina. So when cheaters lose, they got to find new ways to cheat. And in South Carolina, we know they didn't lose, right? We're a GOP state. Where it was supposed to be Democrat, it was. Where it wasn't. But we got to watch them, y'all. We got to watch them. So it's important now that we continue to use our Vs. We need to continue to see what's going on in the state house and with our General Assembly to make sure that no kind of nefarious bills are being passed that would impact our ability to have a free and fair election for marginalized and underserved rural communities specifically. So that being said, we just need to get to work and we need to stay at work. We cannot let our guard down. This change is coming. The change is coming. Change is important, but we got to do this together. And we need everyone. So that being said, until next Monday, have a great day, everyone. And thank you so much for tuning in. And please share. I forgot to tell you, please share. Bye.